Hello everyone, today Archer Aviation released earnings, so I've put together a summary. At the same time, I'll also compare it a bit with Joby and talk you through it. Let's take a look. So, what's up first? There's been talk about the United Arab Emirates, right? So, they're saying that they're going to send our Midnight aircraft to the United Arab Emirates. It looks like they'll be sending it in the second half of the year. Similarly, Joby has also decided to send their aircraft to the UAE in the second half of the year. Why? Well, it's because they need to test whether their aircraft can operate properly in hot weather. Anyway, that's what Archer and Joby have been talking about. Next, the United Arab Emirates is currently targeting the Abu Dhabi area. Joby, on the other hand, is focusing on the Dubai area. I think that sums it up for us. There's a new term that's come up this time. They attracted new customers by talking about the lunch edition. They're saying that Abu Dhabi Airlines and Ethiopian Airlines have formed a new partnership. So, to briefly explain what a launch edition is, it's when new customers come in. When new customers come in, it means that we'll support them in the same way we've always done for new clients. So, for example, the airlines will provide support as well. They'll send engineers and offer support in this way. That's what the launch edition is about. I think you can sum it up like that. So, right now, they have $1 billion in liquidity. $1 billion sounds like a huge amount, but with that money, they'll eventually have to move into mass production. Mass production is going to cost a lot of money, so whether this amount will be enough or not is something we'll have to watch and see when the time comes. It's the same for Joby. Joby also has a lot of cash on hand. So, to sum up, both of these companies have a lot of cash liquidity right now. Now, we can't leave out the topic of Palantir. They said they're going to work together in partnership with Palantir, but what exactly are they going to do? When it comes to mass production, how can they use Palantir's AI tools to make airplane mass production more efficient? They've decided to collaborate and work together on this issue. Next is air traffic control. I think a lot of airports will probably use this Midnight, and it seems like this is about how they'll use it so that its routes don't get tangled up with other planes and their movements. Next, they'll also work together on route planning. They said that in places like Abu Dhabi and New York, and in other major cities, there will be discussions about how to use and operate this Midnight. That's basically how you should understand Palantir's role. Now, this topic also came up. Archer is now collaborating with Enduro, and it seems like they're going to make some kind of military aircraft. In fact, Archer even established a new division called Archer Defense, so it really feels like they're making a strong push into the defense industry as well. Of course, Joby is also currently and actively working closely with the US Air Force, but compared to them, you can most certainly feel that Archer is much more actively and visibly involved in the defense and military sectors. Now, this image shows how Archer is planning to set up routes in New York, how they'll create these routes. Actually, Joby had already shown us a lot of similar images like this before. They've also shown us several different examples of how they might potentially operate routes that would connect cities located near New York. And then this particular one shows how they might set up routes in and around London, possibly in close collaboration with Virgin Atlantic. So basically, Archer is showing exactly the same things that Joby has been showing. I think it's good to keep that in mind. Also, they're planning to run air taxis in New York, together with United Airlines. Who is Joby partnering with? They're probably doing it with Delta Airlines. So, the fact that they're operating air taxis in New York right now is basically a carbon copy of what Joby is doing. It would be good to keep that in mind. This is something Joby sent out a while ago. From JFK Airport to downtown. Similarly, Archer is also talking about running the same route from Manhattan to the airport, so just keep that in mind. Now, if we take a look at this slide, it's about aircraft delivery. I mentioned this earlier. They're planning to send planes to the United Arab Emirates later this year. They're going to run tests. Next, they're receiving government support. Right now, they're getting support from high-ranking officials in the United Arab Emirates. It's the same story. Joby also talked about these things. Next, regarding the regulatory pathway, they said they're working together with the Aviation Authority of the United Arab Emirates, just like before. They've brought in an operating partner. Who is it? Abu Dhabi Aviation says. So, if you look at it now, who's got Abu Dhabi? Archer is going to take that. That's the tutor. And then, for Dubai, Joby is going to take it. So these two are now going head-to-head in the Middle East. So the question is, who will take the rest of the Middle Eastern market? In my opinion, right now, Joby is a bit ahead in getting certification from the US Federal Aviation Administration. So, personally, I think there will be a difference of about 6 months to a year, but that's just for the US. We don't know how things will play out in the Middle East. So I just wanted to say that it should be interesting to keep an eye on this as well. Alright, and first of all, this is what Joby said. There are going to be a lot of these air taxis, so what do we need to support them? They said that pilots are needed, so Joby is probably training pilots at their marina factory. And now, Archer has announced that they're conducting pilot training in the Middle East. Next is infrastructure. Like I mentioned earlier, things like heliports and vertiports. You can see a building here, but this is just a rendering. It's a design concept. I want to clarify that this isn't an actual building that's been constructed yet. Now, the term Launch Edition comes up here. So, it's about safely deploying aircraft. So, when a client comes in, the Launch Edition is about helping that client deploy our midnight aircraft safely and quickly. As they explain this, you can see Abu Dhabi, Aviation and Ethiopian Airlines mentioned here. What are they doing here? We're going to send pilots to Abu Dhabi, Aviation. We're going to send technicians. We're going to send engineers. So, they're saying that they'll provide support so that our aircraft can be operated quickly. It's the same thing. Ethiopian Airlines is also saying, just like ADA, that they're going to send our pilots, technicians, and engineers. This is exactly what you call the copy and paste method. That's why it's called the new Launch Edition. Now, I'm going to put a YouTube link in the description, and what I felt while watching this YouTube clip is that Archer is way better than Joby in one aspect. Well, of course, their aircraft might be better too, but they're really good at showing things off. They make really cool videos, and they do it in a very impressive way. So right now, even Jimmy Fallon, the famous American host, was invited to the event where they showcased this aircraft. They brought in a DJ and made it a huge event. That's why I thought it would be good for you to watch this video, so I captured it for you. I'll put the link for this in the description as the second link, so I think you'll find it interesting to check it out too. Now, here they're talking about the certification progress. They say they're currently at the 4th stage. So, just like Joby, they're also stuck at the 4th stage, but this 4th stage takes a really long time. Currently, Joby has made about 60% progress. And then, they're saying that FIR is at about 15%. So, looking at this, Joby is inevitably going to be the first to get FAA approval. Unless Joby causes some major accident, or unless the FAA sends a pilot and the aircraft malfunctions, Joby will probably be a bit faster. So anyway, as things stand right now, Joby is moving a bit faster than Archer. That's how we can understand it, and this time they talked about TIA testing at Joby. So similarly, they also said, we'll be doing TA testing soon too. That's what they shared. Yeah, they're following right along. They're keeping up quickly. So, as of now, in the first quarter of 2025, their net loss is $93 million. So, having this kind of net loss right now isn't really a big concern at the moment. But it might become an issue later on when they move into mass production. For now, the main thing seems to be how well they can keep up with Joby and how many partners they can secure. That's what I think. So, here, I've organized this into a table. What you see in front of you are Joby's partners. Delta Airlines has announced that they plan to operate in both the US and the UK. Next, there's Virgin Atlantic and PNH, which is in Japan. Then there's GTEX, which is a private airline in the Middle East. They're also currently in a partnership. Next, Archer has partnerships with United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Signature Aviation, and recently, Abu Dhabi and Ethiopian Airlines have been newly added. So, I think that about sums it up. To summarize, Archer is keeping up well with Joby. They're catching up quickly and efficiently. Next, compared to Joby, Archer does a really good job of presenting what they're doing in a very impressive and polished way to investors, not necessarily that they'll do better, but they package and showcase their work really well. I don't mean that in a bad way, it's more like they show what they're actually doing, but make it look even cooler, that kind of vibe. So, in the future, who will actually succeed, Joby or Archer? Will one lose and the other win? But actually, I feel like Joby and Archer will just end up splitting the market between them. So I don't think either one is going to fail. Alright, so, anyway, Archer Aviation. I think we can wrap things up here for today. If you have any questions or if there's anything new you'd like to add, please leave a comment and give a like. And please, subscribe to the channel. That's it for today's video.
Thank you.